Most people have already made peace with whatever genetics gave them. They believe that the cards they were dealt at birth are final. Period. End of story. But if you're watching this video, your intuition is probably telling you that they're wrong. And you're right. Today, I'm going to prove to you that your body's biology is far more flexible than internet myths would have you believe. Your body possesses hidden growth mechanisms that no one has told you about because most people think it's unrealistic, but it's pure science. In this video, we're going to break down the wall of myths. I'll show you why the penis is a plastic structure that responds to mechanical stress similarly to how your biceps do at the gym, yet slightly differently. You'll understand the SFRA model and learn how to force tissues into permanent adaptation. We'll go through specific processes, from angiogenesis to the SFRA model. First, we'll explain exactly what grows. Then I'll reveal the mistake that destroys progress. And finally, and this is the most important part, I'll show you the cementing strategy, which ensures your hard-earned new size is permanent. Let's start with the facts. Is this just temporary pumping? Absolutely not. Before we look at the graphics, you need to understand one fundamental thing that you won't find in a standard biology textbook. It turns out that the tissue we're talking about is 50% made of an element programmed for size change. It's not a dead structure, but a living, reactive component. I'm talking about smooth muscles. They make up about 50% of the structure and are the key to hypertrophy and hyperplasia. Did this information surprise you, or have you dived into anatomy before? Let me know in the comments if this is new to you. As you can see here, the anatomy is based on 3 spongy chambers that act like elastic reservoirs. When you subject them to regular stress, you force the expansion of the tunica albuginea. Now pay close attention, because this is the moment where most people stop thinking and then wonder why they aren't seeing results. Look at this chart. This is the SFRA model. This is your holy grail. Growth doesn't happen during exercise, but in the rest phase, when the body rebuilds tissue in a larger size to better handle future loads. If you want length, you must target the suspensory ligaments and the tunica albuginea. If you want girth, you must increase the internal pressure of the corpora cavernosa. This isn't just temporary pumping. It's the construction of new infrastructure, the creation of new blood vessels that stay there permanently. It's like, instead of just pouring more water into a balloon, you actually enlarged the balloon itself and added new pipes to supply it. This is real growth of blood vessels, angiogenesis. Not just blood that flowed there for a moment, but be careful. Even if you train perfectly, your body can block this process at a chemical level. In a moment, you'll find out which single hormonal factor determines whether your work goes to waste or turns into permanent injury. Let's move on to something truly interesting that few people talk about. What separates the success group from the frustration group? It's your biological foundation. You can train perfectly, but if your hormones are off, growth is blocked. In the world of endocrinology, there is one specific compound that acts like rocket fuel for peripheral tissue growth. Without its presence, even the heaviest training is just banging your head against a wall. I'm not talking about regular testosterone. I'm talking about DHT, or dihydrotestosterone. It is essential for the physical growth of tissues. This is confirmed by studies where adult men saw gains after hormonal therapy. Successful individuals optimize their testosterone and DHT levels through diet, supplementation, and sleep. But there is one thing that can kill these hormones in just 1 hour. Stress, anxiety, and excess caffeine. These raise adrenaline, which constricts blood vessels and literally blocks the processes of building new tissues. Be honest. How many coffees do you drink a day? Let's check if you aren't giving your body too much adrenaline, which might be shrinking your vessels. With a hormonal foundation in place, you're ready to start. However, this is where the biggest trap lies. One that 90% of beginners fall into. In a moment, I'll show you why what seems like harder training actually sets your progress back by weeks. Why do some see results after a few months, while others quit everything after a year? The question is, Do you want to be the guy who wastes a year of his life fighting his own anatomy, or the one who understands tissue engineering? The difference lies in intensity management and time under tension. Most people who stop seeing results don't realize that an invisible armor is building up inside their tissues. It's a biological block that makes the organ resistant to any further change. This is the process of microscarring and fibrosis. Frustrators often think that more is better. They train too hard, thinking that if pain means growth in the gym, it must be the same here. They perform hundreds of repetitions without any control, which ultimately leads to overtraining and tissue stiffening. Have you ever tried to train to the max, thinking it would speed up results, only for the exact opposite to happen? Share your mistakes in the comments. It might help others avoid injuries. The Success Group treats erection quality as a barometer of progress. They are cautious during training, don't rush into heavy loads on day one, and prioritize the warm-up, which makes the collagen elastic and pliable for modeling. This is only half the battle though. There is one specific method, the 3-step rule, that separates amateurs from professionals. I'll show it to you exactly in the section on the conditioning phase, but beware. The biggest tragedy begins when you finally see results, only to lose them in 2 weeks. To avoid this, you must know the process that almost no one talks about, the cementing strategy, which we'll discuss at the very end. If you're starting from scratch today, your first step is the conditioning phase, which lasts 5 to 8 weeks. Who among you is ready for a solid 8 weeks of conditioning to build the foundation? Type start in the comments if you take the challenge. You must prepare the tissues before you start using advanced methods. Remember the 3 rules. This is our 3-step rule I mentioned earlier. First, always use a 10-minute warm-up. Second, never exercise with a full erection. We're aiming for 60 to 70%. And third, and if you only remember one thing from this video, let it be this: the cementing phase. Without what I'm about to say, your entire training is worth 0. Look at this timeline. Once you reach your desired size, you must maintain a consolidation routine for about 3 months. The tissue needs to be hardened in its new size. Otherwise, it will act like a rubber band and snap back to its original state. Biology gives us the tools, but they require patience and understanding the signals your body sends, rather than trying to force changes through sheer power. Start smart and build results that stay with you forever. As you can see, enlargement isn't magic. It's pure biology and tissue engineering. However, it requires something most people lack: patience and cooperation with your own body, rather than a fight against it. If you feel this video opened your eyes to how growth mechanisms really work, and you want to avoid the mistakes that ruin progress for others, you need to stay updated. Subscribe to this channel now. In future videos, we'll dive even deeper into specific techniques and studies that will help you build lasting results. Let's build smart, not just hard. I'll see you in the next video. And finally, what do you want to hear about in the next material? Specific supplements for DHT, or perhaps a deep dive into the research on angiogenesis? I'll take the most interesting suggestions into the workshop first.